Welcome to video 9.10a, inverse trig functions. First of all, let's start out, what even is an inverse function? Well, an inverse function undoes the function itself. So for example, adding 2 undoes subtracting 2. Multiplying by 5 undoes dividing by 5. Squaring undoes square rooting. Sine inverse undoes sine. And for sine inverse and cosine inverse and tangent inverse, we write the symbol with that -1 exponent. It is not to be confused with a reciprocal at all. It's just a notation. All right, 2 extremely important things. An inverse trig function is used to find angle measurements, whereas normal trig is used to find ratios or sides. You've got to keep that in mind. All right, so here's just a little for instance. Let's suppose I know that the cosine of some angle theta equals 0.9, and I want to find that angle theta. All right, well, this is the function. Let's apply the inverse. The inverse would be cosine inverse. So I will apply the cosine inverse to the right side of the equation, and just like in all of algebra previously, if you apply the inverse on the left side, you also apply the inverse to the right side. And then just like before, the inverse undoes the function, so I'm left with just that argument inside. So theta equals cosine inverse of 0.9. And then you can take your calculator and go for the graph, second cosine inverse 0.9, and I get about 25.8 degrees. Okay, so then just to reiterate with the 3 other functions, let's suppose sine of theta was 1/2. Theta would be sine inverse of 1/2. I'll compute them all later. If cosine of theta is 1/2, theta would be cosine inverse of 1/2. If tangent of theta is 1/2, theta would be tangent inverse of 1/2. And if I calculate these, this one comes out to be 30 degrees. Second cosine 0.5. This one comes out to be 60 degrees. And then this one over here, second tan inverse of 0.5, about 26.6 degrees. So there you have it, how to use inverse trig functions to find the measure of an angle in a right triangle.